is like a hernia that I have now. And it hit me. And since then, it's been hitting me even harder. I know that I can't continue at this pace. Lance and I got so hot, I nearly had heat exhaustion again the other day. And I had heat exhaustion. I came home and I was done. I was sick. But the thing is that why did God not protect me from this? God, I trust in you to bless this thing. But see, my problem is that I think that my solution is here. What if the only way that God can get me out of this path is to cause me pain, to cause me to suffer, to move me to here? Does that make sense? Where I should have been all along. But because I'm stubborn and I will not change, he has to, because if I say, God, guide me, well, some of us are stupid. Some of us are hard-headed. Some of us cannot take gentle nudging. Some of us, we have to be beat upside the head. I am that person. And he has to physically put me at a disadvantage so he can move me where he wants me to be. The thing is that yesterday, I'm sitting around here and I'm walking around and I was telling somebody and I said, all that I'm hearing today is, why am I not blessed? I walk through my house and I'll see things that's not done, that's not complete, that I've just broken. Why? It's not that I'm not blessed, or maybe I am blessed and I don't even know it. The thing is that you say, well, why do I have a lot of money? I know nobody's ever had that problem. Nobody's ever said, why do I not have enough money to pay my bills? Why am I struggling? Ask yourself, does it say anywhere in the Bible that it is harder for a poor man to enter into the kingdom of heaven than it is for a camel to get through the eye of a needle? It don't say that, does it? The other way around. But what do we desire?
Monetary gain.
And so the Bible specifically talks about riches and how riches are a trap. Eric, how many wealthy men do you know that are really good men?
None.
No, there's few. I've known few.
There's very few.
There's very few.
Because a lot
But
of
what's the
times that
majority?
brings evil to them.
Exactly. The thing is that a friend of mine, very wealthy, Lindsay Petroleum Transport. If you ever see LPT going down the road, that was Tom Lindsay. He's dead now. Tom Lindsay told me, he says, I wish I knew that if my kids, his woman, because he didn't want to get married again because of the last 4 or 5 wives that he had took him for a cleaning, so he wasn't going to get married again because he didn't want to lose no more money. So he's going to have this woman shack up with him. He says, I wish I knew that they loved me for who I was and not what I was. Rockefeller said that he would give his entire fortune to be able to sit down and eat one meal. To eat one meal without it turning sick because of the worry and the death. But yet we kill ourselves in pursuance of something that God says is not good for us. But see, that's what we've equated blessings. And so we think that blessing, that God blessing us, is God giving us all these things that we want. Sometimes God blessing us is God taking away all the things that we don't need. I wanted God's blessing. And I told a young man the other day, he said, this is what he said. He said, man, I'm really contemplating about getting out of Freemasonry. I said, imagine that. I said, you realize I'm the last person in the world you need to talk to about this. He said, why is that? I said, because I ain't got nothing bad to say about the whole organization. I said, God moved me on. I didn't understand why God moved on. One of the things that I considered my role in Freemasonry was to equate how Masonry and God fit together. That's my job. That's what I thought was my ministry. The Grand Master has recently passed an edict. An edict is a law that the Grand Master passes. And you know what the edict says? You can no longer talk about God in a lodge. No religious conversations about God in a lodge. None. Think about that. So, fast forward. This guy's telling me. He says, I still like to go to lodge. And he says, I'm a Christian, but every other language, every other word, Lance, in about every other sentence was a cuss word. And I'm like, I'm sitting there listening to him. I said, so church. I don't go to church. Well, why not? Well, hypocrites, and I don't think that they're talking about the church in the right way. He says, I don't think that, that the churches are too watered down in what they talk about, and they don't do this. So I find that me and my wife can have church at home. I said, so you will go to a lodge where you can't talk about God, but you won't go to a church where you can. I said, the thing is, I said, I had to ask why God moved me out. God said, this is your field. I was here because it gave me all the things that I wanted. God says, I want you here. I had to leave, and I hurt every day for that. But I know ultimately, Paul said, my pain is ultimately his reward. I give him my pain. That's the whole essence of worship. Worship is not, there's Amber song, was listening to a song, and it said, will you ever come to him on a winning streak? You won't. You don't go to God on a winning streak. Think about that. When everything is going good and you got blessings in your life, you got all this stuff in the world, where is God? You don't need God. You don't need God. So the thing is that, we talked about children. Do you continue to bless disobedient children? No, there has to be this point. But your children never understand standing on their own until when? So the thing is that in all this, worship, pure worship, is this. If it's not getting up here singing songs that are moved by minor chords or major chords, depends upon how you want to move it, and got happy songs and stuff like that. Worship is when you're hurting and you sing praises to God in your prayers. They said that the greatest worship song that was ever sung is a song that's sung through bitter tears. Say, God, I don't understand it. I don't understand my troubles. I don't understand my trials. I don't understand this. I don't understand that. But yet, God, I will worship you. Job said, yet though my God has slain me, I will still trust him. Job lost everything that he loved. Watched everything be destroyed. There's a movie called Tears of the Sun. You ever watch it?
Yeah.
But you have to watch the point to where the missionaries are killed. You see how the missionaries die. That'll change the whole movie. How these people came in and how it's bitter to me and how it reflects deeply in me. I had a vision one time of being in the mission field, of them coming in and killing Amber and Bam. That scared me from mission field because I didn't want to do it. We have to decide where we want our blessings to stop and where we want our blessings to begin. It is so easy. That is not praise to praise God when times are good. That accomplishes nothing. The enemy looks at that and he's like, that's easy to praise God when all things are going good. Take the crap away from him. That's what he said about Job. Take all these things, curse you, put all these hard times on him, then he'll curse you. The thing is that God knew that even in the end, Job was still standing. Even though Job hurt, even down to this kid coming up to him, and all of his friends was accusing him of all the wrong. And he finally goes for God. God, I don't understand. God says, gird yourself like a man. Prepare for this. Because now, after all these idiots are done talking, I'm going to talk. In the end, God blessed Job mightily. Because Satan did not win. If you think for 1 second that Satan doesn't. An ex-wife of mine taught me this one time. She said, never give anybody anything you don't want them to have. Martial arts, if somebody hurts you, the last thing you do is let them see you hurt. Because people want to hurt you. That's the nature of people. And they love it when you suffer. They love it when you're angry. They love it when they provoke you. They love it. And they want to hurt you. Never see it. Never let them have it. Your enemy, Satan, wants to see you down. He wants to see you destroyed. Don't give it to him. So how do you show him that he doesn't have the victory? Praise God. Praise God. Where God told Job, he said, stand up. Job was basically groveling on the ground. God told Job to stand up. There's nothing more. There's no deeper pain than we can cause Satan is that when we stand up in our time of trouble and trial. We think it's time when we kneel that's when Satan's defeated. The thing is that everybody during their darkest times, during their attacks, is down on their knees. That's not living. That's praying for release. Living is when you get up and you walk away. When you move on. He says, what? That didn't do it? That didn't destroy her? I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this. The thing is, Carrie, do you realize that what's going on and what's going on in each of your lives? God is moving in you and he's trying to show you something. You don't understand. You have to think logically. I thought about Snitch getting run over the other day. I had this image where my enemy comes up and he says, think about Snitch getting run over. What if Snitch runs over and gets shot? How I have to think about this, and as much as I would hate to, I know that soon I am going to have to take Snitch. Within a few years, I'm going to have to take Snitch to the veterinarian. And you know what I'm going to have to do in a couple of years? Get him shot in the head. I'm going to have to hold my dog. I can't ask Bailey to do it. I can't ask Amber to do it. Who's got to do it? How many times, Carrie, have you had to stand up on your own 2 feet? You always impress me by that strength. The thing is that I know it's going to come. Would I rather Snitch be struck down in the road and me deal with that, or me to hold Snitch while he's dying? For a Snitch to have to suffer until I could make the decision to put him to sleep. My aunt had a dog, and her name was Lady. She was a German Shepherd. Lady had the same problem Snitch had. Lady was the best dog in the world, best dog I've ever seen. She was an amazing dog. She drug herself around until she had maggots in her skin, because nobody would put Lady to sleep. Nobody could do it. She suffered for years dragging around. Was that doing honor to that dog? The thing is that sometimes we have to say, God, I don't understand why you took this. As I told you the story in the Bible where the king was taken out before he got older, before he fell away. God took him when he was young because of what he was going to do. I never understood the implications, or you don't understand who this thing and what's going to move and how all these things are going to change. And that's not for us to understand. You knew eventually, we all know eventually, we're going to have to face decisions. I had Dago. Dago lived with us forever, went to live with Mama. After Mama died, Dago came with us. Was living on Huddle Street. I knew Dago was getting bad. I knew Dago was, I have to go put Dago to sleep. One day, Dago slipped outside. Ran over. I was mad, I was angry. Dug a hole, put him in the hole, moved on. Because I didn't have to put David to sleep. Sometimes things happen to spare us pain down the road. Sometimes we don't understand. We'll never know the reason why. But what we can do is choose to rejoice in God. Me losing my job, when Kevin Strayhorn, after he did what he did, I learned through Smith Ford, I learned through masonry. I never said anything bad. I asked this young man yesterday, I said, so have you ever heard me ever say anything bad about Freemasonry and blasting the Grand Lodge and all those people attacking me? He says, no. I said, you never will. Because it's meaningless to me what they did. I don't care.